Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to take a look at Realms of Eternity, that is described on the Steam store page by the developer as a realistic physics-based VR action RPG with realistic combat and stealth elements. It was released October 30th, 2020 by developer VR Kimono. It's available for all the major VR headsets. It normally retails for $10. I got a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program, and this is an early access review. So if the question is, does the game live up to the description on the Steam store page, my answer is hell no. It's not an action RPG. If this game is an RPG, then RPG has no meaning whatsoever. It's not an RPG. As far as realistic combat and stealth elements, the developer is working on the stealth. I'm not sure this is realistic combat. There is physics, and some of it's realistic, but a lot of it is not. So let's take a deep dive. Let's talk about Realms of Eternity. If I have to describe Realms of Eternity, I would call it a very simple physics sandbox type game with sword physics. Basically, you're chopping down wood, bamboo, or you're chopping down fruits and vegetables, the pumpkins, the heads of lettuce, and that's basically it. The physics, when it works, looks really good. Like when you'll chop down the head of lettuce, you'll see exactly where you struck it, and it looks nice. But there's also some inconsistencies in the physics. You'll see the pieces of wood that you'll strike one, and right below it you'll see it chopped down, and the one right on top of it you completely phase through with no cuts to it. That just doesn't make sense as far as real life physics. Then you talk about the wave shooter. It's really almost a copy of Hollow Point, except it's nowhere near as good as Hollow Point. And it has some really strange physics there. I don't like the bow mechanic at all for this game. It's not as smooth and polished and quick and easy as it is in Hollow Point. And also when enemies come near you, you kind of like climb up on them, and you'll see them strike you and nothing happens to you. And you'll see like the moving blades that spin around the room, they'll strike you and nothing happens to you. So right now it's just pretty janky and not a lot of fun, if I'm being honest. This game is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 72 frames per second on the Oculus Quest 2 and steady 90 frames per second on the Windows Mixed Reality. It was set to the highest graphical settings. However, I will warn everyone that the controller bindings did not work out of the gate for this one, either for Windows Mixed Reality or for Oculus Quest 2. On Windows Mixed Reality, I did have to edit controller bindings, and I finally got it to work. On the Oculus Quest 2, nothing I did would work, and then all of a sudden it just, by itself, just started working. I have no idea what was going on with the Oculus Quest 2 controller bindings. I will just say that out of the gate it says to press trigger to start the experience, and it just wasn't working on either Oculus Quest 2 or Windows Mixed Reality. But I did get them to work. You do have full locomotion and snap turning, as well as teleportation available. I did not experience any serious bugs during the gameplay outside of the aforementioned problems with the controller bindings. You do have some graphical settings to play with, along with sound and, like I mentioned, the locomotion. And the game actually does look pretty nice in the highest graphical settings. There's a nice little environment outside with like a almost magical stone, and then you have like a water fountain surrounded by cherry blossoms and little butterflies flying around. But the actual 3D models in the wave shooter for me just weren't very good at all. The animations were very stiff, and just the enemy AI was terrible. They just basically walk towards you or shoot you from a distance, and then you're just shooting down these floating objects that are just very simple. So while there's some nice elements to the environment outside of the main game hubs, when you're actually playing the game itself, the visuals actually aren't all that great. And on top of that, just some of the VR interactions are less than stellar. I do like how you can two-hand the samurai sword. However, the holstering of the sword and just grabbing it, the magnetic hands, all could use a lot more polish in this game. It just wasn't very good. And even like grabbing the bow, it just could be a lot better. Honestly, even drawing your arrow here could use a lot of work. And just even holstering your bow instead of leaving it there floating in the air. It's all pretty janky right now. Keep in mind this game is in early access. It is being actively developed. However, I am reviewing the game as it stands today. Maybe in a few months from now, my review will be out of date, but for right now, I'm reviewing the game that I played. And honestly, those ninja sounds do get very annoying after a while. So I only played this game a little over an hour, but I managed to get number 1 on the leaderboards. I assume that means that I've played it the longest out of anybody else. It just needs a lot of work. Right now, it's just not a lot of fun, so I cannot recommend it. If I have to rate it, I would give it a 4 out of 10. The only way I would recommend this is if you believe in this developer, if you believe in this game's development, then sure, go ahead, purchase this game, support the developer. I do see the developer is actively working on this game, and it might be a good game sometime in the near future. But honestly, when you buy a game in early access, you're always taking a risk that it will keep being worked on even a month or 2 from now, or maybe even a year from now, and I don't know that's going to happen. Anyways, if you like my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.